Chris Lee and Blake Lovell of Southeastern 14 presented by Stakes. We are previewing every football game involving SEC teams for this season. Today, as we do this on Monday morning, we are talking about Arkansas and its road trip to BYU. Arkansas, my goodness, how the once mighty have fallen. The Razorbacks were number 3 in our power rankings. Unfortunately, some injuries and some bad breaks have knocked Arkansas down considerably. The Hogs had a terrible weekend and they lost to Mississippi State. Played their number 2 and 3 quarterbacks. That didn't go so well, but bigger issue for Arkansas's defense, which we'll get into. Jalen Catalon, done for the year, their All-American safety. That has had some massive ramifications for the Razorbacks. BYU has been up and down. Some good times for the Cougars, such as, let's see, they beat, who was it early in the year? Oregon pretty decisively, lost to Notre Dame over the weekend. BYU's been in the top 25 this year, not now. Line on this game is BYU by 2 from what I'm seeing, over under for about 60, and you can catch this one at 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. Kind of a weird matchup. It's not often you see a team go to Provo in the middle of the football season to play a game, but kudos for Arkansas to doing that. Blake, what a wild run it has been for the Razorbacks.
Chris, I say this, and this is this is a top 3 most unpredictable game of the season. And
Yeah.
here's why. Do you know what Arkansas is against the spread in their last 4 games?
I do not.
0-4. You know what BYU is against the spread in their last 4 games?
I do not.
0-4.
Wow.
So neither one of these teams have covered the spread since the Clinton era. And so I don't know what to expect here. And I think, again, it's kind of the things you talked about. We obviously have unknowns with KJ Jefferson, and it seems like you would, at least as we're recording on Monday, you would think he's going to play. That's what it seems to be headed towards, but we don't know that. Pure speculation. Meanwhile, BYU is one of those interesting teams that kind of has a mixed bag at times of what you've seen from them this year. Obviously, they beat Baylor way back when. That was about a month ago. That was, by the way, that's the last time they covered the spread as well. Got beat at Oregon by I think 3 touchdowns. Lost to Notre Dame last week. I don't know. This is like I truly mean that. I think of all the games we're going to talk about in the unpredictability this season, this has got to rank up there as one of the most unpredictable ones because I just don't know what to expect here given what we've seen from Arkansas's defense, not necessarily knowing if their quarterback's going to play as we're recording this, which we will update when we do our live stream on Wednesday night. And then, again, these are 2 teams that just I don't know. If you're talking about it from a betting standpoint, we're not professional bettors, but this has got to be a hard one for the bettors out there.
And even if we were, we might stay away from this
Yeah,
one. Well,
that's true.
we are SEC guys, as our audience knows. So if you're a BYU fan or someone else watching this, the SEC is our area of expertise. So we're not experts on the Cougars, but man, just that schedule alone, and looking at the variability of what you get, BYU in the opener beat a bad South Florida team. South Florida probably a bottom 25 team in the FCS. BYU wins that one 50-21. Then scores an upset of Baylor the next weekend in overtime, 26-20. Then loses 41-20 to an Oregon team that was 2 weeks out of that Georgia demolition. Oregon has certainly gotten a lot better since then. BYU then beat a Wyoming team. I know that program a little bit because I had a relative play there. Wyoming not very good on offense. BYU won that one 38-24. Wyoming is probably a 100, 95-100 type team in the FBS. And then BYU beat a bad Utah State team, 38-26. Utah State probably a bottom 20 team in the FBS. And then gets beat by Notre Dame, which has had an up and down season, 28-20 last weekend. But let's talk about matchups on each side of the ball. When Arkansas has the ball, it's averaging 29.5 points a game. It has lost 5 fumbles. BYU does not force a lot of turnovers. It's only picked up 1 fumble this year. Arkansas has only thrown 3 picks. BYU has registered 5. Arkansas has given up 11 sacks. BYU has had 9 itself. Arkansas, if you take away sacks, has rushed for 5.2 yards a carry. BYU, by the same token, given up 4.6. Arkansas, 7.8 yards per pass play. Again, that's adjusted for sacks. BYU giving up 6.2. Anything stick out to you here when Arkansas has the ball? And I'm going to presume, for the sake of this video, that KJ Jefferson, Arkansas starting quarterback, will play. Sam Pittman said he expects him to be cleared Monday. So what do you think here when Arkansas's got the ball?
I mean, if you look at the numbers, right? I mean, BYU's given up some rushing yards. So I think that's something, if you're Arkansas, you certainly look at. And I think that's, we've said kind of, right, like that's still the strength, I think, of this team in terms of their playmaking ability on the ground, whether that's Sanders, whether it's Jefferson doing some things with his legs. So I think, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing that stands out in terms of, I think it's pretty clear that if you're Arkansas, grinding out this game at the line of scrimmage and being able to use your offensive line to run the ball, I think that's still the strength of this team, and I don't think that's changed. It's just, unfortunately, right, Chris, that the problem has been on the other side of the ball. When you get down and you're giving up the amount of points they give up, it's hard to just sit back and run the ball at will, because at some point you're like, we got to get down the field a lot quicker. We've got to throw the ball because we're playing catch up. And I think that's where, again, the start in this game, to me, for Arkansas is so important, because that's what you want to do, right? Offensively, you want to be able to kind of play the game the way you want to play it, be able to run the ball all 4 quarters. Like, you don't want to have to just abandon the run because, oh man, we've given up 30 something points. We got to play catch up because we're down 2 touchdowns. But it seems like that's kind of been a situation that's played out just with their defense. So, again, everything comes down to whether Jefferson plays here. But initially, I think just being able to run the ball and run their offense the way they want to run it. But I still think it's all going to go back to what happens on the other side of the ball, which, to this point, I can't. I don't know. There's probably another example, but you want to talk about, like, in terms of a drop off of not just teams, but like on one side of the ball from maybe where we thought they were to start the season to where they
Yeah.
are now. I don't think there's been a bigger drop than this defense. So,
Well, we're going to get to that in a second. First of all, a couple of things that I noticed on the matchup when Arkansas's got the ball. Arkansas is averaging 47.3 rush plays a game. Again, I take sacks out of it. That's not a rush play, that's a pass play. BYU opponents are attempting 40.2 rush plays against it. So if you take the average, you expect about 44 Arkansas runs in this game. Pass plays, Arkansas only attempting 27.5. BYU only giving up 29 pass plays a game. So whether that's strengths of opponents or it's where teams think they attack BYU, I think you should expect to see a lot more runs than passes in this game. And frankly, if you are Arkansas, I think that's what you want to do, because you've got to keep that defense off the field. So if you want an idea of probably, I know this is no revelation to Arkansas fans, but if statistically, if you want an idea of what Sam Pittman is probably going to do, it's probably going to be run the ball a whole lot.
yeah, it's like, remember, what was that text message I sent to you? Who were we talking about? Auburn way back when? I was like, they need to run the ball on every play. I feel like that's
Right.
sort of the example here for Arkansas. I think you want to try to run the ball on every play, and that's not knocking their passing game. It's just playing to your strengths. And I think in a game like this, that's going to be huge, because, like you said, that factors into trying to keep the defense off the field. So.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot of Rocket Sanders and maybe a lot of Jefferson keeping the ball, depending on his health. Okay, before we talk about the other side of the ball, big games coming up this week to add some excitement. We at Southeastern 14 are making a lot of picks in the Stakes app. That is STAKES. We want to hear from you guys. If you agree or disagree with our takes, go to playwithstakes.com/14. Sign up for stakes. Place your predictions, whether you're for or against us. If you use the invite code Southeastern14, you'll get a double welcome bonus. Stakes is free to join, free to play. It is not a betting app. It is a fun predictions app. You can win stuff. You can beat us. You can rub our noses in it. Have fun. There's no downside here. Help us out. Help Stakes. Have some fun for yourself. Okay. I think this is the part that really we are looking at when we figure out how this game goes. Because I think Arkansas is going to run the ball. It's going to score some points. Stopping other teams has just been a nightmare. Arkansas is scoring giving up 32.2 points a game. That is worst in the league. Just ahead of Vanderbilt. BYU is scoring 32 points a game. Arkansas has lost 4 fumbles. Again, BYU has not recovered one yet. BYU just does not force turnovers. Passing, Arkansas has thrown 3 picks, and BYU has gotten 2. Arkansas, I think one thing that goes lost in Arkansas's defense is Arkansas does get a lot of sacks. It has sacked opponents 21 times. BYU has given up 9. So rushing plays, Arkansas gives up about 31 rushing plays. BYU runs it about 29 times. Arkansas giving up about 5.7 per rush. BYU averaging about 5.5 per rushing play. And per passing play, Arkansas, if you adjust for sacks, it's not been as bad. 7.1 yards per passing play. BYU averaging 7.7. Now, the problem for Arkansas, when it doesn't get a sack and the ball is in the air, that's a lot of trouble. So I think a lot of this, Arkansas is going to have to continue to get pressure on the passer. But I mean, gosh, it's been so ugly since Jalen Catalon went out of this lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like we say, we know there's a lot of Arkansas fans that watch this, and we're not saying anything they don't already know. It's just been brutal to watch this defense play and give up the amount of points and yards, and it's just yeah, that's the game here. Like we talked about everything on the offensive side, but if they can't be better defensively, it's not going to matter because they are just giving up too many points, and this is a team like you said, BYU. Offensively is gonna certainly be able to test them through the air, and I think that's been the problem, right? Like it's just been they've not been able to kind of stop some teams whenever they've really tried to stretch the field and maybe go for some of those long pass plays, and um, yeah. So I mean, I don't even know what else to add, Chris, because again, if you've watched Arkansas play, you've seen what we've seen. Like you see kind of where the defense is right now, and there's no bigger, key to victory for Arkansas than just simply being better defensively. And that's really all it comes down to here.
Blake, we're trying to find clarity on this. I think our only clarity is Arkansas is going to give up a lot of points and it's going to run the ball pretty well. Penalties, Arkansas is getting penalized 65 yards a game, BYU 62. So no real edge there. I was looking at FEI's special teams ratings, which have not updated for this week. Arkansas ranking 106, BYU 118. So really no big edge either way there. This looks like the go with the home team. That's what Vegas seems to have set the line at, with Arkansas as a 2-point underdog in Provo, over under of 60. That makes a predicted final score of 31-29 in BYU's favor. Man, again, good luck to you. If you can get with any clarity who's going to win this game, I would probably lean BYU just being the home team. I feel like there's going to be more points scored in this one than 60. Again, we're not professional bettors. We just watch a lot of SEC football. That's my take on things. What is yours?
Yeah, this feels like a set the line where you think two teams are pretty even. And you just set it in favor of the home team. I think the way Arkansas wins this game is that if that under hits big time, because I look at it that way, right? Because to me, that means Arkansas has 7-8 minute drives where they're running the ball, just kind of methodically doing their thing, keeping the ball away from BYU's offense, not putting as much pressure on their defense. That to me that's the name of the game here. And I think, I think with the offensive line and their ability, Arkansas can do that. We know they're capable of it. And I think that's it, right? I don't have a great feel for this game. Like I said, I think you could probably do a coin toss on this game 5 days during the week and just, I'll go with that. I'll go with that. And like just keep changing your answer because I don't have a great feel for this game. Like I said, top 3 most unpredictable game of the season, maybe. just based on, if you're looking at it from a betting standpoint, for the professionals out there. It's just looking at these two teams have not covered in a month. I don't know, Chris. I have no feel on this game whatsoever. Um, I just think there's your key for Arkansas: run the ball, win the time of possession, keep your defense off the field. That's it.
And maybe it helps Arkansas that BYU just does not generate turnovers.
Yes.
I mean, it's had 2 all year that it's gotten. So maybe that helps Arkansas in that regard. Well, we will go into this game a little bit more on our Wednesday night live stream as we get a little more information. Again, I'm expecting KJ Jefferson to play, but we'll try to have an update that on our Wednesday show. Thank you to Stakes. Thank you for watching. Best way to get all our stuff, including notifications on our live show, is to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon at Southeastern 14.